Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's time for the PLE Event Center, where our host talks about the results from a WWE PLE event. And now here's the man to bring you all the results from the PLE event himself, Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode 2505. What's going on, everybody? And Clash in Paris just ended not too long ago. I'll tell you what, it's a near 4-hour event, and it was a crazy event, to say the least. And let me tell you something, this could get interesting as Monday Night Raw. I want the fallout tomorrow for Raw in the afternoon at 2 o'clock. Paris time, and in Paris, I'll tell you one thing right now, dudes. I'll tell you one thing. After what I just saw at the main event, I told you we only a matter of time. Things would happen, and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. I gotta tell you, it's something. Let me tell you, it's. Woo! This ought to be fun. I mean, this is one of the craziest events ever. Now remember, this is the final WWE PLE event as far as Raw and SmackDown brands are concerned. As you know, the superstars of Raw and SmackDown compete in a PLE. This is the first time, but NXT will remain on Peacock, ladies and gentlemen. The NXT PLEs will be on Peacock. Any PLEs that involve NXT wrestlers will remain on Peacock. So we'll get to watch that. So that's the upside. Yeah, the downside is everything else is going over to ESPN, but the NXT will be remaining here on Peacock. And who knows? A lot of things are happening. A lot of crazy things are happening in wrestling today. So we shall see. Roman Reigns went one-on-one with Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed, the tribal thief, the owner of the Shula Fala. And Roman Reigns came down with 2 Ula Falas, one red, one black, is to honor both his father and uncle, the Wild Samoans, who instilled in him the tribal chief moniker. This was a heck of a matchup. Paul Heyman tried to get involved in the matchup, but he got choked out by Roman Reigns, but Bronson Reed ended up winning Roman Reigns did end up winning the matchup, but Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed attacked Reigns after the matchup. And, security's trying to stop them, and after a few tsunamis, Roman Reigns ends up in a stretcher. And then Jey Uso, who was supposed to be challenging for the World Heavyweight title, came to the aid of his cousin Roman Reigns. And he got speared for his troubles, and you got EMTs trying to get down and get Roman Reigns out of the ring. You had security officials, referees trying to break up the whole thing. Adam Pearce was down there. He's got to be not to be happy about the whole darn thing going down. But so there's that. So that was a crazy event. So they finally broke up the whole fight. In attendance, Jelly Roll and Post Malone, who was supposed to do a concert in Paris, I think they're there to do a concert in Paris, is in attendance to watch. Jelly Roll did make his in-ring debut at SummerSlam, teaming with Randy Orton, a losing effort against the team of Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, who we'll see later on. And Adam Pearce, not surprised, he is ticked off. At Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. He says, Roman Reigns is going to the hospital because of you two guys. And they said, what about Paul? Well, Paul Heyman's going to the hospital. Maybe you should join him. In fact, get out of the arena and not come back. If I see either you two come back, you're suspended without pay indefinitely. So they say, fine, we'll leave. So they finally left. They made sure security kicked them out of the arena. Which you would think that Seth Rollins would be at a disadvantage now. He doesn't have Paul Heyman, the Oracle, in his corner. He doesn't, and he doesn't have either Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker in his corner as well. So you would think, even though Jey Uso could be at a disadvantage too because he got hurt with his ribs were hurt from the spear by Braun Breaker. But I'm sure CM Punk and LA Knight will probably in the catbird seat thinking, hey, this is our opportunity. Without those big chumps at ringside, I think those dumb chumps at ringside, we have the advantage here. No Paul Heyman, no Braun Breaker, and no Bronson Reed. No problem for CM Punk and Jey Uso and LA Knight. Opportunity for all three of them to get together and say, hey, let's beat the crap out of Rollins, and then we'll beat the crap out of each other for the title. Then the tag team titles were on the line. The Wyatt Six defended against the Street Profits, who came out in gear that is paying tribute to the Borderlands franchise, as they're promoting Borderlands 4. Heck of a matchup. In fact, there was a little tension between the Street Profits at first, and that could build up at some time. And but they started getting it together. But then the rest of the Wyatt Six during the matchup, that would be Eric Warren, Uncle Howdy, and Nikki Cross, since Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis are the defending champs. They got involved during the match. Are you surprised that B-Fab did not see Nikki Cross? And I think there'll be a 6-person tag match coming this Friday night on SmackDown. Who knows for sure? But in the end, the Wyatt Six do retain the tag team titles. Now, that means who's next to stop the Wyatt Six from bagging the belts? Will it be the Motor City Machine Guns? You know, even Ivar tweeted something and looked around. Ivar, the Raw needs a tag team division right now. Judgment Day's got a death grip on that. So, well, we shall soon see. And the Women's Intercontinental title on the line, Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella. Becky Lynch, the defending champ. Heck of a matchup between these two ladies, but Becky Lynch came up with a new move known as the Lynch Pin, as christened by Wade Barrett, which I think Becky Lynch probably thinking about it and go, oh, the Lynch Pin, that's a good idea a lot. Ends up pitting Nikki Bella to retain the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Then Brad Pierce talks to Jey Uso in the training room, and Uso says, I don't care. I know my cousin's hospital, but he told me to bring home the world title. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going in there. Yeet. I say much respect to Jey Uso. He's still going to be fighting for his family and fighting for some gold. Figure the ultimate revenge on Rollins, and Breaker and Reed get the title off Rollins. Then the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between Sheamus and Rusev, the former League of Nations stablemates. These two gentlemen beat the snot out of each other. Even Big E said that this could steal the match. This could steal the show. Big E, talk about these two big meaty men slapping meat. That's what he calls it. And I'm telling you, this was big meaty men slapping meat, ladies and gentlemen. What a brawl between these two. They were beating the stuff out of each other. Sheamus went to a bar. Rusev just did an accolade with a shillelagh that made Sheamus tap out. Only the second time in Sheamus' career he tapped out. If you believe that, that as an indicator that Sheamus is one of the toughest guys to make tap out. That's for sure. But Sheamus unfortunately tapped out here. We'll see what will that parlay Rusev in a title situation. Maybe if AJ Styles fails to defeat Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. Personally, I want to see Rusev just knock out Dominic, take Dominic's head off, and win the Intercontinental title, my personal opinion. But we shall see. That Intercontinental title match will happen tomorrow in Paris on Monday Night Raw. Then, Georgie Farmer, one of the stars of Wednesday on Netflix, is in attendance. He's a big wrestling fan. And on this next matchup, John Cena versus Logan Paul. I've watched this matchup, and let me explain to you folks something, okay? Yes, we don't like Logan Paul from a personality standpoint. The guy's a jerk. He's a dimwit. He's a biggest-looking butthead. He makes us want to hate him. But he does put the work into the ring, and even Michael Cole says he respects Logan Paul after the matchup. This was a heck of a matchup. John Cena had brought out the best in Logan Paul. And they did moves. He did moves that never been seen before, and all that. He tries. Logan Paul tried to steal from others' playbooks, but in the end, John Cena ended up winning the matchup. And as you know, the Undertaker has the most PLE wins in WWE history at 107. John Cena just picked up his 99th victory. That means he's only 8 victories away from tying or 9 away. 9 victories, actually 8 victories away, or 9 victories away from breaking the record. Will he do it before he retires? I don't know. Right up there, The Undertaker. That's another record, possibly. The Undertaker. I didn't know The Undertaker had the most pay-per-view victories at 107. That's amazing. That is amazing. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame, folks. That's why The Undertaker's in the Hall of Fame. John Cena will be there soon. Logan Paul, he's got a lot of work to do, but let me tell you something. In order to get respect from the fans, you're gonna have to stop the antics, stop the attitude, and just put in the work. Back up everything you say. That's all you gotta say. Stop being a goofy. I don't want. You know what? You know what the thing is. I don't want Logan Paul should not be wanted. And I'm sure a lot of folks don't want Logan Paul to be remembered as the guy who goofed around in a Japanese forest. And gets berated for it. I don't think Logan Paul. If he does not want to be known as that, I suggest that Logan Paul starts putting in the work, starts earning respect. He has to earn it. He shouldn't demand it. He has to earn it. He has to put in the work. He has to make sure everyone respect him. That's the thing. Logan Paul, if he does not do that, he's going to be remembered as this YouTube clown for the rest of his life. Logan Paul's got to put in the work. He needs to put in the work. That's very, very important. If I wanted to do the same thing, I would have to put in the work too. I would take a lot of sacrifice to do so. But I have no intention of stepping in a wrestling ring. I like color commentating. I like announcing. I like, being like a commissioner or something like that. Like, make a match. All right, you face you, and go at it, That type of deal, I like to do that. I like to be more of a speaker role. So, yeah, or a manager. I could be in the corner and cheer on somebody, or think of strategy. Okay, I studied this, and I studied what the wrestlers do, and think of a strategy and tell them, hey, watch for this, watch for that, and all that. I like to do that. If I can't wrestle, I'll do manager, color commentator, have some fun with it. Well, so yeah, John Cena. It was a heck of a matchup, though. But in the end, John Cena did win. Logan Paul's got a lot more work to do if he's going to earn respect. Philippe Charot addresses the Paris crowd. He's one of the French commentators. 30,343 people in attendance in Paris. So congratulations to the folks over there in Paris, France. Speaking of the folks in Paris, France, guys. We saw an incident with Rhea Ripley before the show, and she was getting crowded. And Rhea Ripley, listen, wrestlers are people too, guys. You gotta lay off the wrestlers. If I even saw a wrestler in an airport, I'd be going, eep. I'd be like, I make sure I don't carry anything with me. It's like, oh, they're gonna be in an airport. Oh, let me grab all my stuff. No. If I casually walk into an airport and I saw some wrestlers there, I'm just gonna go, or sneak it, act like I'm taking a selfie and just, take a selfie and just, I don't know. I probably wouldn't say anything. I'd be going, you're not gonna believe this, folks. Yeah, they were actually in the airport, and I probably wouldn't say, okay. Probably, I did see. I think the last wrestler from the WWE I seen in person live would be Sheamus. The whole incident, man. That whole incident. Oh, what happened was we were the local car dealership was had Sheamus in, and everybody lined up to see Sheamus, and it got to the point where, unfortunately, time constraints prevented a lot of us from seeing Sheamus. And a lot of us were not very happy about that because we were turned away and had to go. And I ended up getting one picture of Sheamus. I was hoping to meet him because he was one of my favorites. And yeah, we were not. And there was the Chrysler, the Dodge Chrysler. They blocked me on their Facebook page from commenting because I was not very happy that it's like we didn't get a chance to see Sheamus. You advertised it yet. We were there. We waited in line, and we didn't get a chance to see him. And now it's like, yeah, I was like, don't go here because they try to use Sheamus to get sales for their cars. I mean, this was back in what, 2014? Yeah, I gained a friend on Facebook out of all that, so that's because the friend was in a complete agreement with me on this. So yeah, yeah, that's what happened, man. I got screwed at seeing Sheamus, man. Now, I don't, to this day, to this day, I will not buy a car from that ever again, from them ever. As a result. Anyway, so there's that. Jackie Redmond interviewed Seth Rollins, saying, "Hey, listen, Heyman's in the hospital. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed got kicked out, and Seth Rollins goes, you know what? I don't need anybody. I'm the World Heavyweight Champion. I'm going to do whatever it takes to become champion. I don't need anybody to help me with the title. I've done it before. I'll do it again." Well, anyways, the World Heavyweight title line, Seth Rollins defending against Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk. Love the fact that the people in France know the words to Cult of Personality. And Jey Uso's theme song, they're all yeeting and having a good time. All four men beat the snot out of each other. CM Punk went to a table. LA Knight went to the French announcer table and all that. And Seth Rollins made sure, towards the end of the match, Seth Rollins made sure that Uso and Knight did not get involved. Him and Punk were in the ring. They were going at it. Punk tried hit up with the go to GTS, and he said, and then when Seth Rollins bounced off the ropes and laced him again, CM Punk thought this is another opportunity to do it again. He was about to say go to sleep, and then a hooded ninja figure low blowed CM Punk. You would think there's got to be another member of the Division that he's recruited, right? And there was a female. And I said, I think I know who it is. There's only one woman loyal to Seth Rollins. Hoodie took off, and it was the Women's Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch. I am not surprised that it was her. It was like, I said to myself, it was only a matter of time that Becky Lynch would join the Division. And so that means the Division's got two titles in their camp, if that's the case, with Becky Lynch as the Women's Intercontinental Champion, and Seth Rollins retains the World Heavyweight title. Now that begs into question. Will we see AJ Lee finally step into a WWE ring in years and say, I've had enough of my husband getting screwed. It's time that I put matters in my own hands. If I were AJ Lee, I would be looking at this and go, that's it. I'm going to get training. I'm going to teach Becky Lynch a lesson. I think you're going to see husband and wife versus husband and wife at WrestlePalooza. I get a hunch. I'm hoping that it may or may not happen. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that this brings AJ Lee back to the WWE and gets into a fight with Becky Lynch. I'm all for it. If they decide to go that route. If AJ Lee chooses to, and said, you know what, I'm stepping back in the ring. I want Becky Lynch. I'll take your Women's Intercontinental title while I'm at it. You know what? That will be great to see, but we shall see what happens. I'm thinking, will this bring AJ Lee back to the WWE? Will this be to the point where CM Punk goes home, tells his wife, hey, I'm in this situation, and his wife says, honey, we're going to get in this together. I'm going to get trained. I'm going back into the ring. Who knows? Anything can happen. Anything can happen in the WWE, and believe me, and with the first event, PLE event being WrestlePalooza in ESPN, well, this could be an interesting situation. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah. Who knows? So, what will happen tomorrow on Raw? We'll find out. 2 Eastern, at 2 p.m. Eastern time here in the States on Netflix. Gonna be fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. On the next episode, it'll be my Shenanigans Statements of the Statesman. And for August 2025, I'm going to do that. And until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. a Big Beefy E and Dorf for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.